Good afternoon, Teach. I am Lorraine Tan and I will be showing to you the activity that we have for our final exam. So for the first one, for remedial therapy, for attention, visual spatial, and memory, I will be using computer-based games for my client. For memory games, we have cards. Next is for attention. Here your client is focusing where the coin is placed. The third one is the visual spatial. You ask your client where is the circle inside, where is the circle. So here is an example. Mame, asaan po ang circle? Kindly point. Next is adaptive therapy. First is changing the physical context. Instead of using small calendars, replace it with larger ones. Another one is changing the physical context, declutter the home environment. Next is changing the social context. You advise the family to lessen the role of the patient so he can participate, so he can still participate. Another one is instead of the patient will be the one assigned to cook for everyone, you can just assign the patient to na she will be the one to cut the onions or the garlic, something like that. Not the whole process of cooking anymore. Next is graded cues. You instruct the patient to remember the things that they have done today and you increase the demand for your activities. Ma'am, i-remember lang nato tong atong gibuhat karon nga adlaw para sa tong next session. Okay, thank you. Sunod na session, ma'am, instead of identifying one shape, daghan maghatag ko og more complex activities. Thank you. Next is established behavioral routines. I suggest po, ma'am, example, the caregiver is here. You have a sleep-wake routine. You sleep at 8 p.m. and you wake up at 7 a.m. Another is you prepare the clothes of the client for the next morning. You ask the family to prepare the clothes of the client for the next morning. Next is the 4 training phases. First is anticipation, giving homework to your clients. Okay. Ma'am, after this one, homework ko po sa inyo is sa balay, mag-exercise po tayo in this kind of movement. Ganito po. Hands natin. And like this. Yes. Yes po. Homework nyo po yan. Yung exercise that one. Next is acquisition using of written and verbal instructions. So, ma'am, this is how you do when we practice to feed ourselves. This is our illustration. And ganito po, ma'am, you rehearse with me. You get the spoon. Yes. Then you try to scoop. Then, like that. Okay, very good. Thank you. Then the application and compensation, you use server application, you advise the client to use a device like a universal cuff for feeding. So the gripping would para hindi mag-slide. Then the continuous use of the compensation or compensatory aid. Next is the 5 mechanisms damage to insensitive limbs. First is the continuous low pressure. You advise your client to change position, sitting position from time to time. So for the concentrated high pressure, you instruct your client to carefully handle enlarged tools like this one. Ma'am, careful lang ta sa paggunit sa large handles like this. Careful po tayo. Yes po. For excessive heat and cold, you instruct your client to use pot holders or oven mitts to protect his or her sensations. Ma'am, pag maggunit ta og mga init na mga butang, pwede ta magamit og pot holders or oven mitts para dili ta ma-burn ang ato ang hands. So for the last two, repetitive mechanical stress and pressure on infected tissue. For repetitive mechanical stress, you ask your patient to rest in between periods. So if there is an activity, the patient must rest. Then for the infected tissue, you have to educate your client about blisters, something like that, so it won't get infected more. And it should also, you should rest the affected part. So for compensation techniques, we teach our client one-handed technique for dressing, and we can also use richer aids that would help him or her put on her pants, and also a day planner for our client, so he or she would not forget the activities or the things that they have to do for today or the day. Ma'am, I have here a planner for you. Ito po, ma'am, this will serve as your reminder on the things that would happen today. For you, to remind you po, ano po ang mga gagawin niyo today. Thank you. Next is the desensitization technique. First is padding over the affected area. Affected area. Yes, padding over the affected area. Next is massaging the affected arm. Pa-place na ito sa arm. Then, gripping cotton balls. Ma'am, please go grip. Yes, like that. Okay, thank you. Next is rubbing affected fingers on the towel. Please go grab sa imong fingers sa towel, ma'am. Okay, thank you.